Hello everybody and welcome to Mistakes Were Made. Today we are going to be doing our cash envelope stuffing for the first pay period of October. And yes, your ears do not deceive you. I am once again ill. Unfortunately, we went to spend some time with family, and that family does include school-age children. So there was some sickness in the household, and it managed to attach itself to myself and then onto Mr. M. So he is also under the weather as well, but we are feeling better. And so I wanted to get this video out because it's been a little bit delayed. So let's see what we're working with. We've got 100, 200, 300, 50, 400, 20, 40, 60, 80, 500, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 605, 6, 7, 8. So $608 is what we're working with today. I hope everybody else is feeling much better than we are. And if you are in the Florida area, I hope you are taking care of yourselves. It is very scary, the hurricane season and what it has already wrought. And the fact that we're having one so close behind Helene is obviously no good. So please take care of yourself if you are in the path of Milton. And if you have been affected by Helene, I am so sorry. I wish that there was more that I could do. We did do a little bit of donations, but I've been watching Meaty Mama. I don't know if any of you are familiar with her channel. She does door dashing. She is a riot and a half, but she is in the Florida area, and she's been driving down some of the streets, and it's just heartbreaking to see people with like basically all of their belongings just on the side of the sidewalk or on the side of the road. And it's, I can't even imagine. I just can't imagine. So please take care of yourself. And I know it doesn't do a lot, but you are definitely in our thoughts. So let's move on to our cash envelopes. I am a little bit tired, so I'm going to try and be quick with this, but I say that all the time and then I'm not. All right, so we do not fund AAA during the first pay period, so we're going to skip that. We're also going to skip birthdays, but I am a little bit of a fuss budget, so I needed to fix that. Birthdays also do not get funded. But car maintenance does. It gets $100. So let's see where we are at with that. Got some tight quarters here for some reason. Okay, so we've got 100, 250, 300, plus the 500 that we moved into the bank. So it's a total of $800. Is that right? Yeah, 300 is $800. What is it? It's 10, 8? Yes. We did take some money out because I needed to get a filter for the cabin air filter, which was super easy to fix. It was even easier to fix than the engine filter-y thing. I was very proud of ourselves for doing that. And then Mr. M needed to replace his windshield wipers. Goodness, those things are expensive. So we did those. I am going to need to take my car in relatively soon. Technically, it's been the 3 months, 6 months, whatever it normally is for the next oil change and maintenance. But I haven't met the mileage side of that. And I know you're supposed to go to whichever one's first, but because I don't drive as much as I used to, I've been sticking more to the mileage piece of it. So probably in November, maybe December is when I'll be going. So having, money saved up is going to be helpful for that. But we are at $800. When we get to 1,000, the next 500, once we meet that next 500 mark, I'll probably go and deposit that into the bank as well. And we'll just keep on keeping track if we get up to 1,200 in the bank, which will actually end up being, I guess, $1,000 in the bank and then $200 in cash. Then we will stop funding this until we bring it back down. Next is Christmas, and that gets $12. So we are going to do a 10 and 2 ones. And that will put us where? I am moving a little slowly as well. Actually, I'll go more into why for that, but yeah, we were very busy over the weekend, and it's had an impact for sure. Oh my goodness, excuse me. So we got 50, 100, 50, 70, 90, 200, 10, 20, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. So $240. We are getting a little bit closer to our $350 goal, which is nice to see. We don't do clothing, but dining out and entertainment we do, and each of those gets $50. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my 2 groups of 50 together, because we don't, fill anything out for those. Oh, come on now. There we go. So dine out is taken care of, and entertainment is also now funded. We're talking about, well, we were going to be going bowling this past weekend, but we had, the stuff that we did, and then the fact that we got sick meant that was a no-go. So maybe once we're feeling better, the next time Mr. M has a Saturday off, we will redo the whole idea of bowling. It's been a little while since I've been bowling. I'm terrible at it, but, it's fun. We are going to do $25 for garden and yard. So that puts us at 20, 30, 45. And clearly we used some recently. 45. And that is for the 8th. I'm trying to think what it is that I needed in the garden. Excuse me. I don't remember. But we will be starting or wanting to start bulking things up a little bit in here so that we can get a jump start on costs for spring. I mean, yes, it's only October, but the more we can save up here, then the less need we would have to add, re-add this to the long-term goals that we have, where like we did this last year. And we'll just see if we can circumvent needing to do that. Now gas gets $100. All right, there we go. Get in there. Okay. Gifts does not get anything, but giving gets $5. That puts us at $10, $15, $20, $25. Okay. Groceries gets $200. So tuck that right in there. And health gets $10. So we're at 10, 20, 30, and as you can imagine, we ended up needing to get more meds, so they are not cheap. Even when you get, you know, the generic Dayquil and NyQuil stuff. Excuse me. All right, household gets $25. We are at 10, 20, 30, 5, 36, 37. Oh my goodness. All right. Shove that in there. License and fees gets $11. I think when we were doing the budget with me, I talked about the fact that I do need to get my tags renewed this next year. And I decided that I'm not going to consider that part of a licensing thing. That is going to come out of the car maintenance. So that will definitely be a hit to that because it's pretty expensive. I want to say it's in the like around $200 or so, maybe even a little bit more. It's been 2 years since we did it last. So I could be off on those costs, but we're going to consider it a part of car maintenance rather than the licensing piece. We've got 50, 60, 70, 85, 95, 100, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 51, 52, 53. So $153. Which means we are actually getting close to the new goal, which used to be 250, is now 200. So just a few more months and we should hit that. And then we will stop. We'll either stop funding this or we'll take that $11 that we would fund towards it and backfill other envelopes. Okay, we do have some money in miscellaneous. We're gonna set that aside. Pets. Okay, we're not funding pets today. That's a second pay period one, but I did want to throw out there that It was time for our dog Gus to go to the vet because his rabies and his licensing, was due. He is our oldest dog. He is 11, I believe, and during the exam, they did find a heart murmur. So now, obviously, dogs can live with those, or they can be like really, really terrible. So we're probably going to have to take him to a specialist. And of course, all the cost of the licensure, the what are they called? The shots that he needed and the rest of the exam, it wiped out, our $340 that we had previously. So this is dry as a bone. And when I was looking online at, the potential costs for, a heart murmur whatever kind of specialist, cardiovascular specialist, it was something like $200 to $1,000 for that. And then, depending on what the issue is and what they feel is the best course of action, it could be, a change of food, which could be hundreds of dollars for specialty food. It could be some kind of surgery potentially, depending on how bad it is, which of course could then be in the thousands of dollars. So we're not looking forward to that situation. We're definitely going to have to wait until we've got some money stashed before he can go see a specialist. The vet didn't make it seem, like it was terribly urgent, like she heard anything like crazy concerning, but obviously there's limits to what you can figure out just by listening to the heart. So we'll have to see. I'm a little concerned about Mr. M because Gus was the first dog that we got, and we got together. I don't know if he's actually ever had a dog before. He may have, but he's particularly connected to Gus. And, with him being the elder statesman of the dogs, there is always the good chance that he may make it to the Rainbow Bridge before everybody else. And I know that's going to be hard for us both, but I think it's going to be probably doubly hard for Mr. M. So anything dealing with his health is a little bit concerning and worrisome on many levels. So we'll just have to see where things go as far as that is concerned. Oh man, I promise I am not crying. that is my sickness. Prime does not get anything, and then taxes is supposed to get $20, but the last time I did check, and this is all discombobulated. We'll count up what we have currently. We have 50, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, 20, 40, 60, 80, 300, 10, 20, 35, 45, 55, 56, 57, 58. We have 358, which we do have noted right here. We are ahead of what my calculations say we will need for taxes based on the income that we've brought in from Etsy. So we are going to leave this at the $358 for now. We have had some Etsy sales that I have not entered into the thing yet that came in today. So that'll certainly change things, but we are slated to fund this again later in the month. So we'll just have to see where we land. It may be a mistake to divert this $20, but it's a mistake that I'm willing to live with if that ends up being the case. savings, we don't do anything. What happened? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, somehow yard cleanup got messed up. We are going to do our coloring for yard cleanup because this pay period, another $100 has been put into the bucket. So let's fill this one in right here. Sometimes I wish that we had, you know, pretty money like other places like the UK and all of those. It seems just fun. All right, so that's another $100. So going towards the yard cleanup, we have $100, $200, $300, $400, $500, $600. So on our way to our $2,500 goal. And again, the $2,500 we picked for this was pretty arbitrary. We really have no idea how much somebody might charge us to help us clean up that blackberry area. But we wanted to have something saved up before bringing anybody in. If we're lucky, maybe it'll be far less than this. And so we could get a couple of different bids and then hire somebody on the spot. But at the same time, if they look at it and and they're like, wow, this is going to be $1 bajillion, then at least we'll have a seed amount that we can then continue to build on. All right. I wanted to skip the junk removal because that's part of our story for the weekend. So we did finally do the junk run, the dump run, etc. But it was funny because as I had kept nagging Mr. M, a different situation came up. My dad actually called and was like, hey, do you guys need any recliners? Ironic, isn't it? Because they had a couple of leather recliners that had, you know, the electronic seats so that it would like raise the leg and the back and the lumbar and all of that. And I was like, well, you know, we don't really need it. But at the same time, part of our plan was to get rid of one of the couches that the dogs have just torn to shreds that was down in the area that they hang out in, which is also kind of our media area, computer area, things like that. And so the idea of not needing to purchase additional seats to take that place was, you know, very interesting. The other option, because we had also thought about maybe getting rid of the couch that we have over here in the living room / dining room, which the cats have also destroyed pieces of. So it's not great. But it has a sleeper bed in it. So we were kind of iffy on whether we felt we could even haul it out of the house, which we inevitably we did not. And so then the thought was, well, we could put the 2 chairs up in the living room. So we talked about it a little bit, Mr. M and I, and we finally said, you know what, let's go ahead and do that. If we get the 2 chairs, then there'll be a place for me to sit and watch TV, because typically you cannot sit on the couch that was down there. It's in such terrible condition. So if I would be down there, I'd usually be at the computer and doing computer stuff and not necessarily like watching movies or whatever with Mr. M. So this would make it possible for us to do that again. And plus they were free-ish. So we finally made the decision, yeah, we will go ahead and do that, and we will just keep both of the chairs downstairs, because what we can do is, you know, put blankets over them and then put stuff on the seat, like a a tote bin or something so that the dogs don't jump into the chair and, make it all gross. But we didn't really have a way to transport the chairs. So what I did was I was like, hey, honey, Dad has this, we've agreed, so what we're going to need to do is step it up on the whole junk removal, because our plan was to rent a U-Haul truck to get the stuff to the dump, and so we can instead get the U-Haul truck, go get the chairs, bring them back, then fill it with the junk stuff that we need to get rid of, and voila, 2 birds, 1 stone. So that is essentially what happened. On Friday, I did take Friday off. We went and we picked up the chairs for my dad. My dad and his wife were getting new chairs, which is, that same day later in the afternoon. So that's why we picked that day. We got them home, put them in the living room. And then for the rest of the day, it was basically getting what we felt we needed to get out of the house, like the couch. We had to break that down a little bit. I had to take a quick cough break. And then other pieces of furniture that were in disrepair, and, just things that we couldn't get rid of in our normal garbage because they were too big and it wasn't easy to break them down so that they could fit in the normal garbage. And then other big things, similar stuff on the back porch. So we did get all of those. We ended up only taking 1 trip. And the cost for us, both the rental of the U-Haul, the cost for gas to refill up the tank, and the cost for the actual dumping of what we had came to a total of $300. So we still have $200 in here. Now, what my thought is because we potentially have some large costs that are going to come in with Gus, is to put this $200 into the pet bucket. That said, I want to hold off because while we were getting everything unloaded, coming back to the house and getting ready so that we could take the truck back to the U-Haul place, we're looking around for any issues or problems, and we noticed that there were scratches up along the top of the truck. And honestly, we did not look there before we picked it up, so we weren't sure if maybe when we were driving around, low-hanging branches scraped it, or if that had been there before. We did notice that there was a little sticker that said claim completed or claim something. So potentially that was already there, and they'd already done the claim with whomever, had the damage. But because I don't remember seeing it when we first looked at the truck, but we also were looking more low than high. I don't know if there's going to be a potential cost for, scratches on the truck. So we're going to hold on to this for a little bit. I don't know how soon they would contact us about a potential damage issue. And if they feel that it is something that is our fault and not part of whatever original claim was in that same area, because we did end up dropping it off after closing time, so it's not like they were there to review the truck and let us know anything that at that turn-in time frame. So I don't know. We're going to hold on to this for a little bit, just in case we do get something that comes back and says, hey, you guys scratched this. This wasn't part of what was there before, so you owe us X dollars. And hopefully, if that is the case, this will be more than enough to cover it. I am, of course, hoping that no is just we didn't notice that damage when we first picked it up, and that was not something that we did because we don't recall running into anything. And so we'll be able to put this money towards the pets. So there is that. Okay, so that leaves us with our $20 that was going to go to the taxes, and we had some money left over. I think this is a combination of money left over from groceries as well as either dining out or entertainment. So if we add it all together, we've got 20, 30, 40, 42, 43, $44. And again, we're not going to be, fancy about this. We are going to need as much money as we possibly can for the whole pet thing. So that is, where we're going to put this $44. So 10, 8 is going to get 44. All right. Now, if we didn't have the pet situation, I think the way I would like to do any extra stuffings is to kind of just go down the list and see where it makes sense. So maybe AAA we know is going to get filled easily by its normal costs. Birthday, maybe we would extra fund birthday a little bit, or even Christmas. Probably, I think I would lean towards extra funding Christmas if the pets wasn't the issue. Just because if we have a little bit extra for Christmas, that's all for the better. Yeah. So that said, that is not a concern that we have because we definitely know where we need extra money, and that is pets. All right, so that is the cash stuffing for the first pay period of October. I'm going to go ahead and put this miscellaneous back where it goes. I hope you found it interesting, and as always, if you have any feedback, questions, concerns, anything you want to share, please note that down below, and we will see you in the next one.